Okay, now we're out in the front yard, and so there's something. I'll show you first. So I put a new faucet. You can see over there on the side, but the only way that there's water to that faucet is if you turn it on over here, and you see the hose that's sticking into that white pipe. The water's got to be turned on, and one goes to this faucet that's over on the side of the house, near that gate, and the other one is just for this big black hose that pretty much reaches everywhere else. But you've got to have it on, and then you've got to turn. Oops, I'm losing my glasses. This turns this off and on. So right now I've got both of them on. No, I've got one of them off. This black one I've already watered this morning. So let's go back. And the one hose here on the side, what I typically do is I've got another one of the hose thingamabobs, and I'll turn this on. Again, there's only water going to come out if you turn it on back there at the house by the garage door. One place that I always start with, because it's easy to forget, is literally on the other side of the wall. I'll use the which one? I forgot now. Oh, the full. Where is it? Yeah, I'll use the full, and I'll literally fill that whole basin up. And this is mine, this tangerine and Japanese maple combination, and I water that using the hose that's right here. Okay, and I'll fill this basin up for this citrus, this geranium, and there's another salvia that's I'll just fill the basin up. I'll hit just this oak tree. This one will always wilt. It's a Mexican petunia, and it'll wilt like the salvias in the backyard relatively quick, like after a couple days. And that's kind of your sign that, like, fill the basin up. And I usually just tuck my my hose, and I'll fill the basin up. And I might come back and do it a second time because it'll drain right through, but they'll perk right up. And the same with this. These salvia, they'll start to wilt, and I'll just fill the basin up, not so hard that all the dirt's coming out. And then this crepe myrtle here is the last one up in this little corner here. And this canna, hit the canna, and I'll literally fill the basin up, or pretty close to it. It's not in the sun all day, so it's not too bad. And then give this, I don't even know what this is called, but I'll give it a little water. I'll give a little water to the fountain, because eventually it'll evaporate and the pump will be dry, and then it'll burn the pump up, and then I've got to replace the pump. So just occasionally when you're back out here watering, just put a little water in here. It'll go in down the little drain that's in the middle there, and you'll know when you've done enough. I mean, it'll overflow is actually what it'll do. Gives water a little bit, this a little water, this a little water, this a little water. And I come up here and I'll give these hostas, and I forgot what they call these. Anyway, this and this, and then that's it for this hose right here, except for you can see I'm leaving the hose run right now. And I'll put a timer on my phone, and I think I usually put it on for about an hour. It's not running really heavy, but it'll fill this whole basin up, and it'll water all of these black-eyed Susans and the jade plants that are in the ground. But most importantly, it's going to keep this Japanese maple alive. And where it's burnt in the past is literally regenerated, because you can see the red and you see the dead stuff there, but the red is where it's literally come back, because it obviously needs, it can't produce whatever it is with photosynthesis. So anyway, so that's that hose, and then I'll turn that hose off, or I'll leave it running, to fill this basin up, this whole planter up that has the black-eyed Susans, and I'll get the other hose, And that's when I start hitting these up. So these are my ones, my babies, the ones that least convinced me to buy. They're kind of expensive, so definitely want to keep them alive. So I'll hit both of those again. I'll just let them run. The water will kind of soak in, and you'll say, gee, it's just taking more and more water. But you'll see eventually the water starts to come out the bottom, and that's all you need. Come over here, and one thing I try to always do is keep this fountain. There's no water running in it, but the water is, the birds and the other animals tend to drink out of this. But this Japanese maple that goes way up and arches over my doorway, I'll fill this whole basin up, this Japanese maple, and I'll use again, I'm going back and forth between the full setting and then the shower, but I'll fill that basin up, and that guy will burn up there on top if you don't keep that watered. The other guys that are in pots, you can see I've already done it this morning. I'll just hit them a little bit. None of them need a whole lot of water. These guys do bake in the sun, being they're right, on the concrete. But I'll hit them all. Hit that one back there, this guy here, and you'll see it'll drain through, which is fine. I just want to keep them alive. Be careful here. I just set the power. I haven't mounted it or anything yet. Just be careful when you can fill this. You don't have to fill this basin up all the way because it doesn't take a ton of water, but just put some in there, maybe halfway. I'll get my my two guys here with the hair, grass hair. This one you don't want to soak too much. It needs a little bit of water, but Elise says you'll kill it if you let it sit in soggy soil. So really that's it with this hose. The sprinklers are on a timer now. There is one over here that if it starts to look, you can see the pot that's next to the tree. If it starts to look like it's drooping, you can literally just reach over here and just with this shower function, just hit it and kind of fill that basin up there. I think the ivy is just fine. I think the sprinklers do, if they start to wilt, then yeah, you can put some water down by the basin. Again, use the shower function. And then the only other place, and just a couple here on the other side of the driveway, nice Skip, is I'll fill this basin up, or pretty close to it. This is the one that's right next to the door. I'll hit this, I forgot what it's called, native of Australia and New Zealand flax, some type of flax. I'll hit that a little bit. Again, I'll use the full thing. You just basically, by the way, I didn't tell you how to do that, but I don't know if you can see, but it just clicks. It just clicks. And I'll try to fill that basin or pretty close to it. I think the roots go through the pot here, and the sprinklers fill this all up when I run the lawn sprinklers. And that's it for the front yard. Did I miss anything, Skip?